The year is 2026. It's the second. It's the second of the year 2026. And I meant to do this earlier, but I did not. It is hard putting together a list. I kind of copped out. Gotta stop clapping. I have a broken finger. That's something that happened in 2025. Let's recap. 2025 was an interesting year. And I'm sure you can say that after any year during one of these videos, but it was an interesting year, for me at least, because this was like the first year that I actually took trying to listen to new things seriously. Not seriously, but like, okay. The best way to explain this is you're driving home, it's been a long day from work. Do you A, listen to something that you've listened to a million times that you really love? B, listen to something new? C, sit in silence? If you're like me, C's not an option. If it's a really bad day, maybe you go with the 1, but I really tried to push myself to go with option 2 this year. And as such, because of the fact that like over the past 5, 6, 7 years, please don't edit that, I've been more and more snowballing into the underground music scene. If you know RYM, if you know Fantano, if you know Will Talks Music, if you know Court Ware, insert Vine Boom Sound,
Bruh.
I'm sure you're aware of a lot of the underground music scene that's just past the big bands and saying you like Led Zeppelin, which ironically I listened to mainly for the first time this year. Alfie wants to go out. Alfie, say hi to the camera. I'm sorry I have you at a weird thing. I just wanted the camera to see. Like, music-wise, this was the most I've ever listened to, and I'll go over it in this video. I'm going to structure this as my honorable mentions, then my top 10 from this year, and then I'm just going to show every album that I listened to that came out this year, and then just because I'm kind of using this as like a diary, journal, thing, time capsule for me, I'm also going to include the albums that I listened to from any year, that I listened to this year. Ones that I love, I'll go over. I'll just kind of include the rest, right? Because I just want to keep track of everything that I've listened to. I listen to a lot. Specifically this year, I listened to, I'm comfortable saying 65 albums that came out this year. There were more that I listened to, but I didn't really want to count everyone that I maybe listened a third of the way through or a half of the way through. So I'm definitely going to be missing some that, you know, it's like I said, like, if you're into music and listening to as much as you can, I'm definitely going to be missing some. I may also have some on my list that you are going to be like, why is this not there? Or why is this there? And really, I chose my list as a personal favorite, right? I'm not going based off of what I think is the best, although some of these I think are the best. I'm just going off of my favorite. Let's get into the honorable mentions. First off, and I'm just going to be reading this on my computer just because scripts, question mark. Here's my honorable mentions from the year. Ones that stuck with me, but I couldn't include in my top 10, and ones that I thought, personally for me, I liked a lot in comparison to the other ones that I listened to from this year. I definitely found myself coming back to them. Starting off with Nina Geraci's I Love My Computer. I'm, as you'll see, a big fan of just like loud noises and fun grooves and beats, and specifically electronic. I do like EDM, and she showcases a Y2K sound that I feel like normally could be considered like nostalgia baiting, but I'm going to choose to not see it that way. And I think it was done at the right time, and she did it first to where it just totally works. I Want to Fuck My Computer is like such a fire ass sentence in the year 2025, especially with AI coming out. And the first time I listened to that as a single, I was just blown away, and I was dancing in my car. It's on the list. I got Soft Spot by Hanning Barna. This is one that was like, again, one of those that I listened to this for the first time in my car. And I'm on my way to work, I think, maybe, and you get through the first song, and it's just a monologue, and it's just doom 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 doom, right? And it's like, damn, this is going on forever. And then all of a sudden it's just right? And so it's like it kind of instantly engrossed me. And the album as a whole is just so fiery, and it's so punky. and I love albums in other languages. I love albums in English, but when I can't understand them, it makes me want to believe whatever they're saying more, and it's really easy to believe a guy that's screaming. In Norwegian or French, I'm sorry. Next on my list, I got "Birthing" by Swans. I'm just a Swans fan, and that's really all I can say about this. It's a good album by them. I think it's a great showcasing of, they keep saying, "Oh, this is going to be the last time we do this sound," and I think it's a great way to kind of end that. I went to their concert this year. They played unreleased stuff that was also big sound, so it's like I don't believe them anymore, and the fact that they said that. But I like all the songs. They're ethereal. They make you feel like you're transcending, especially on the last song. And oh my gosh, seeing them play the Merge live on bass made me appreciate that song so much more. It's really got this type of thing to it. Next up, I have This and That by Paper Jam. This is a band from Denton, Texas. This is the little D of the DFW area, and it's where I went to college. So going into this, I'm thinking, well, okay, there's like a million bands in Denton, right? What's gonna set this out? Man, they've really got their vibe going. This sounds like something straight out of like a '90s twee pop band that sounds like they had already discovered their sound, and it's so cute and fun, and it feels like a comic book. Shout out to this band. This album is awesome. Next on my list, I have God Does Like Ugly by Jid. I think this album was a little underrated, honestly. I think a lot of people had problems with the fact that it switched up from being rap heavy to more like an R&B section, especially towards the middle. And man, I don't care. The whole album is so consistent. I think that genuinely every song is just really good, and he's just showcasing a master class after the Forever Story. Next on my list, I have Goodbye World by Mythal. This album is very, very ambient, and it is like so incredibly emotionally impactful for having really almost no words in it. The fact that it is a tape mixture, a collage, it almost reminds me a bit of Duster's Stratosphere, especially the title track song. Holy crap, it's snowing all around me. I can't escape this feeling. And I think that the names of the tracks are really showing of what the artist was probably feeling when they made this. The Invisible Girl is wow, that is a heavy hitting song. It has to be some sort of experience that they went through whenever they were younger, maybe even older. I'm not sure, but it's an impactful album. Next on the list, I have Rebel by SD Kid. This is surprising to me. I am not sure how to feel about British rappers past people like Slow Tie, and the Streets, and then you get somebody that's coming in and doing more of a, I don't even know what SD Kid is. But I love the way this album sounds. The production is very fun. It's very techno-y, I guess, more than anything. And honestly, I love his voice. His voice adds on so much. He's got a fun vibe. I love the fact that he collaborated with Timothy Chalamet for Marty Scream. I think that's really funny. So I hope he keeps going. And my last honorable mention that I wanted to put in my top 10 so bad, but I just couldn't, is Fancy That by Pink Panthers. I love the first half of this album so much. Every song is so good. I love the last two songs so much. The middle, maybe they just haven't clicked with me, but man, this album is so freaking fun. Girl Like Me and Tonight you can dance to them, and they just never get old. So good. She had her moment with Illegal, and I love seeing her be popular. I think she's definitely going in the right direction. I hope she makes something good after this. So, boom! Getting into the top 10. I talked way too much on those honorable mentions. Getting into the top 10, I have Femme Fatale by Mon Laferte. This is a little bit surprising for me, considering the fact that Natalia Lafourcade came out with an album this year. But dang, this album is just, I have memories cooking to this album. Like, I got a mixer for Taylor this year for Christmas, and we made ravioli for the first time, like, earlier in December, right? And listening to this album while doing that was like the perfect encapsulation of how I would describe this album. It's making ravioli while making it from scratch and listening to such a beautiful, beautiful voice over just so many tracks that are so swaying, and I just really can't get over how hypnotizing so many of these tracks are, and how I feel like I can come back to them, and they're just as exciting as the first time I listened to this. So that's number 10. Number 9, I have The Passionate Ones by Nourished by Time. This album I would describe as wow 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 wow. It's a very wah 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 e album, and he's doing pop different. I had never listened to him before this year. I remember when this album came out, I was like, "This album cover's really cool. This could be something special." And so I listened to it, and it's wow. It's just catchy. It's weird and catchy, and it's like it brings a breath of fresh air. Thinking about man, pop in the '80s used to be so just everywhere. And it was genius. And we've gotten to the point where so much of pop nowadays is club, and then we get something like this, and it makes me feel excited to be like, wow, what type of waves could this album make? So this album's just great. All of the songs are very just fun to listen to. I think my favorite's probably The Passionate Ones, the closing track. Man, I freaking love that song. So yeah, great album. Moving on to number 8. I have Something Beautiful by Miley Cyrus. This is a late game. I think if I had made this album, or this album year in list, literally probably a couple weeks ago, this would have been in my honorable mentions, but I didn't expect it to climb so high for me. Wow, this album clicked with me so out of nowhere all of a sudden. I listened to it once, I was like, dang, this is pretty good. I listened to it again, okay, this is pretty good. And then out of nowhere it clicked, it's like, wow, her voice is so fitting on all of the songs. All of the instrumentals are so thoughtful. It feels like a total triumph for who she is after everything she kind of went through. The Hannah Montana, the Wrecking Ball, all of that. It kind of amounts to this person who's kind of overlooked, I think, in comparison to the world of critics and ratings and album lists. And it's awesome. I love when things fly under the radar like that. I love the album cover. It really is something beautiful. So many of the songs are surprising to me, honestly. The title track, it really is like Swans-esque, right? This is coming from a Swans fan. What is Miley Cyrus doing in 2025 making an explosion sound? Man, it's so surprising on all of these. It sounds like what I would want Lady Gaga to sound like. Not saying that she didn't also make a great album this year, but it sounds like what I would want her to sound like plus more, which is why it's at my number 8. Coming in at number 7, I have Vanisher, Horizon Scraper, Vanisher Horizon Scraper by Quadeca. I remember listening to Quadeca for the first time in 2019. I remember when Voice Memos came out, and this was before I even like super listened to music. I don't know why I even listened to this, but I didn't even watch him as a YouTuber. So I have a long history with just listening to this guy's music, and wow, he's come such a long way. It sounds like a freaking movie, and he even made a whole movie. You know, watching his videos where he goes through and he shows all of the track layering and all of the sounds and just everything that put into it, and like the Chico Barque sample, and all of the everything else he had to clear and all of the ideas he had. Man, it made me obsessed with this album when it first came out. I still think I like when he does the more melodic, the swaying, the grooving sounds better than when he raps, but even when he does that, it's amazing. So this album is really consistent. It sounds like a gorgeous landscape, and that's why it's at my number 7. Number 6, man, I should probably go get it, but I have a signed copy of this record. I won it in a raffle. I went to the day early listening party. They sent out signed copies of it. I won the raffle, so I got to buy it. But it's going to be Forever How Long by Black Country New Road. This album is so freaking posh. It is so posh. It is the best way to think about it. I can listen to I can think about a princess in England listening to this album, right? I mean, go figure, they're British, but at the same time, it sounds so stringy, and it's very lush, and it sounds proper. And it is really hard to make a sound like that. I think this is like the best album they could have made, despite Isaac Wood leaving. And go them. I know there's debate over who's their favorite in the band. This has been one of my favorite bands since I first listened to them. I love newer bands because it feels like I have more attachment to them. Go Tyler. Tyler's my favorite. I love the way she sounds over all of their instrumentals. I think she fits so well, and it's not to discredit the rest. I just personally have a bias towards her voice is just so lovely. If I had to pick a favorite song off the record, it'd probably be Forever How Long or Mary. Those are probably my two favorite The fact that they're all playing recorder on Forever Along is like feels like 8D surround sound YouTube videos that you see pop up in your feed every now and then. Feels like it's all around you. It's so lovely. Coming in at number 5, I have Fairyland Codex by Tropical Frickstorm. I'm not going to say their actual name. Holy crap, this album is awesome. It is so weird. I love weird music, and this album is weird, and they are weird, and I love their music videos and everything about this album. The album cover is so repulsive. It makes you not want to listen to it. The first time I listened to the album, I'm like, I'm looking at the cover, and I'm listening to Irukandji Syndrome, and I'm like, what the hell am I listening to? Seriously, it's like, it sounds evil and in limbo, and it's like, this doesn't sound like anything else I've heard. Gats is just insane on the guitar. They're all insane. I love when bands are able to have multiple singers. I think that's so crazy awesome. Yeah, man, if I had to pick a favorite off this, it's definitely Irukandji Syndrome and Dunning-Kruger's Loser Cruiser. I have so much fun watching that music video. Music videos that are pieced together in a way that seems sloppy but is purposeful are my favorite kind, because it seems like, why did you make this? And then you see it 5 more times and then you go, oh, I see why you made this. Go Tropical Frickstorm. Coming in at number 4, I have Gold Star by Imperial Triumphant. This album slams so hard. This is legitimately probably my favorite, one of my favorites. I don't know what I can commit to at this point. This is one of my favorite metal albums I've ever listened to. Maybe because I'm biased towards the avant-garde scene of metal. But wow, this album is so cool to listen to. I seriously have so much fun putting on this album and just getting lost in the it's just so heavy, but they take it slow. Their artist bio on Spotify is, we make the sounds of New York as we hear them. And I think the notion of that is just so incredible. I mean, from start to finish, this thing is pretty heavy, except for when it's not. They have an interlude that's talking about like a Gold Star cigarette pack. I find it really interesting to throw that in there, but then you kind of dig deeper into the album, and most of it is just talking about the state of America and the economy and what it's like to live in it. And then it kind of starts to all click. I think about the fact that the closing track, Industry of Misery, sounds a lot like She's So Heavy by the Beatles. And then I have to listen to those back to back, because if you hear it like halfway through this, both songs pretty much, you just like it has to line up, right? Like, thanks for Fantano for pointing that out, because I think it's so funny. If I had to pick a favorite, I love Rock Modern. I love how it comes in after the interlude, and yeah, man, awesome album front to finish. All right, moving on to number 3, I have Let God Sort Them Out by Clipse. Man, everything said about this album is just correct. It is so good. It is so replayable. You can just get so lost in the instrumental, but then you can get lost in literally every single lyric. Like, I'm sorry, but Pusha was the weakest of the 3, and he was also like goated on it. Like, it's just undeniable. Literally all 3 of them did so incredible. I think Malice was probably the best on here, though. I feel like I keep seeing the longer and longer time goes on, lyric breakdowns from everything, and it's like he left like clues. He left like clues in all of his lyrics and pieced them together. Oh man, I don't remember what song it's on, but one of them he just lists a bunch of numbers in it, and it adds up to like a crime or something. It's like I can't even wrap my head around it. The beats are so amazing. So Be It is like, wow, that is a. How do you even make a song like that, man? The sample, the backwards percussion, yeah, that's definitely one of the songs of the year. Pharrell is out of his mind, Mouse is out of his mind, Push is out of his mind. What a insane album that showcases just guys who have been in the game, that know the game, that have done the game, and then just did it again. And it's like, man, this album deserves to be so celebrated. There's emotional moments, there's I'm on my shit moments, and then there's you better pray for yourself moments. And it is so actually hard. That's why it's my number 3. But like I said, this is my favorites list. If this was like objective, I don't know where this would place, but it is like a total masterclass. And yeah, think about what's coming next. Moving on to number 2, I have Revenge Seekers by Jane Remover. If you know they mean, that might be surprising. Or maybe not, I don't know. I am such a Jane Remover fan. I have been since I heard Daria Core and Frailty. They are probably my favorite producer. I think pretty much everything they do is right in the song. I absolutely love the sounds that they make in their songs. I love their personality. I love that they're my age. I love that I get overstimulated listening to it. But in the same sense, I don't get overstimulated listening to it. Daria Core 2 is a modern classic. I will stand by that. That is like the best mashup album, maybe besides like Feed the Animals by Girl Talk, that exists. It's so catchy. And then to culminate all of Daria Core and to culminate the Jane Remover side of things with like Frailty and Census Designated, and to have side projects and to kind of go through all of this identity crisis with Leroy and Delete Zeke, and be making all of this electronic music that also sounds like it doesn't have an identity that forms an identity. Jane Remover just is the music fluid in the best sense possible. That's going to be a term that I coin is music fluid. Just because of how much they're changing, just because of how much goes into it, you never know what to expect. They can pull from anything and make it into anything. And holy wow, every single song on here is so addicting. I can listen to this album like forever and not get bored of it. I pretty much did when it came out. It was like the only thing I listened to. It is so much fun. You can dance to it. You can just listen to it in the background. Maybe it's, I don't know if I have like undiagnosed ADHD. I don't know what's going on, but this album is so freaking awesome. What an awesome point for Jane Remover's career, for everybody to be recognizing her talent. She's one of my favorite artists. I'm glad she's getting the recognition she deserves, but she didn't get number one. Number one is Getting Killed by Geese. And I thought long and hard about this. My top three, all three of them are like perfect albums that came out this year for me. And why did Geese Getting Killed, but it Getting Killed by Geese get number one for me? I thought about this for so long. Because this was the other album this year, besides the other two, that when it came out, it was the only thing I listened to. I've been a Geese fan since they were releasing the singles for 3D Country. And Geese has probably become one of, if not like my favorite band of all time. I know they've gotten radically popular, and I'm so happy that they've gotten popular. And I love that they've gotten popular because I've gotten off social media. That has been the best part of this. I don't have to get it shoved down my throat. I get to inhale it at my own pace. It's hard to choose between if their trajectory parallels Radiohead or Led Zeppelin. That's the other thing I've thought about. Is their first album Projector like Pablo Honey? Is 3D Country like The Bins? Is Getting Killed like OK Computer, right? Did they go up that three-ladder step and make the modern rock record that changed everything and is like legitimately just perfect front to back? Like every single song is so perfect. Or did they come out with a banger first album, which they did? Did they come out with a banger second album? Yes, they did. Did they come out with a banger third album? Yes, they did. Are they going to come out with a better fourth album, right? Or are they going to come out with a weird electronic album in 3 years that is because they're depressed and they don't know how to tour anymore, right? They're just one of those bands. They brought back the notion that bands can have charms. I know all of their names, right? Not because I'm parasocial. It is parasocial. But they brought back the love for bands and band members and keeping up with them and having such a charm and knowing every one of their songs and being a band that you can go to in concert and hear the songs that you love instead of hearing improvs over those songs, right? And don't get me wrong, those are wonderful too. But they're just that band that I feel like has reinvigorated Gen Z and below and also above and freaking everybody. The same way that bands like Led Zeppelin did back in the 70s. The same way that bands like, I don't freaking know, Metallica and AC/DC and whatever your dad's listening to, right? And it just makes me love them so much because we're pretty much the same age. And they encompass everything that I stand for and make music that I want to listen to. And he wears a Daft Punk Kirby Peter Griffin shirt while doing a music video that's going to stand the test of time, right? And freaking Cameron Winter's coming out with stuff that's like Leonard Cohen, you know? It's literally the amalgamation of like
every single spectrum and combining them into one thing I love. And I think Getting Killed is legitimately front to back so perfect. It's kind of hard because I feel like so many albums I can nitpick so many things. Okay, well this song, this song, this song maybe can be a skip, right? Maybe I don't want to listen to this song that much. I don't know, like the song I want to listen to least is Taxes because I've just heard it more than the others and I want to listen to the others more. You know, I think over time this record, for what it did to their popularity, for what it's doing to rock, for the genres that it is pushing for people that are my age, for the era that it came out with, I do think it's the best album that came out this year. It is my favorite album. God bless Geese. That is my top 10 with my honorable mentions. I'm going to go ahead and do like maybe like a scrolling list. I don't know. I'll decide in post. But here's all the albums that I listened to that came out this year. I don't know if they'll be in order, they'll do whatever, but these are all the albums I listened to. And yeah, the ones that I chose, I like personally better than all the ones that are listed here. So moving on to the albums that I listened to for the first time this year, from any year. Maybe I'll do the same thing. I'll do like a little intersection interlude where I just show everything now. Feature one now. And now I'm going to go through all of the ones that really stuck with me. I'm going to go through, I'm going to list just the ones real quickly that I really enjoyed, but I want to give more time talking to others. So, The Laws by The Laws. Awesome album, great songs, front to back, pretty easy to listen to. Come Away With Me by Norah Jones. This is a great album to leave on in the background. She has a wonderful voice. And they're very meaningful, and it just creates a good vibe. She Hangs Brightly by Mazzy Star. This is, again, just a fun album. This is a car, windows down in the car album. Feel good, awesome. Eli and the 13 Confession by Laura Nyro, I believe. I can't believe this came out in the 60s. It's so all over the place. Great showcase of just her talent. Hitler Wears Hermes 8, Side B by Westside Gunn. I love the pianos. I love his ad-libs. Such a fun project to listen to, and it's so fire, actually. Next up is Floss by Injury Reserve. This is just a fun album. I love those guys. Their story is a bit tragic. I hope to see more from Bystorm in the future. Almighty So by Chief Keef. I love Chief Keef. Actually, this year has been the year of Chief Keef for me. So beyond hard. Every beat that he does is just, it's so tough. Everything that he says, it doesn't matter. Like, he literally just repeats himself, but that's the whole point. And it's because the things that he chooses to say are like meaningful. Triple X by Danny Brown. The instrumentals on this album are awesome. He is so freaky. He is so out there. I understand why he's as popular as he is nowadays. Construcao, I don't know how to say it, by Chico Barque. This is such a revolutionary political album. I really got just more into Latin music this year in general, but this album by far just has the most meaningful stories written into just awesome instrumentals. Hell Hath No Fury by Clips. This was also the year of Clips, so obviously I had to revisit their old stuff. That is such a good album, dude. Like, it deserves to be in some of the best rap albums of all time. Probably as well as like Odd Sort Out, but honestly, I do kind of prefer Hell Hath No Fury. It's just some young guys in a prime, not their prime. Led Zeppelin 1 by Led Zeppelin. Speaking of Led Zeppelin earlier, this is probably my favorite Led Zeppelin album. It's so fun to listen to. Was watching some documentaries on them this year, which made me appreciate them even more. Makes me want to blow up and turn to a musician. You know how it is. Scrapyard by Quadeca. I miss this, but despite knowing Quadeca for a long time, I miss this. Man, this album is consistent. It's good. I think it fixes a lot of critics' problems with this album because it feels effortless. It just feels like something he released. And I think most of his not problems, but I feel like a lot of his struggles come in from the fact that he does try to encapsulate a sound, and this one feels like it was nonchalant, which I think really aided it. The Lonesome Crowded West by Modded Mouse. This is just an awesome slacker rock album. I'm sure enough's been said about this. So getting into the more important albums that I listened to this year that really resonated with me, I'm going to save my favorite one for last. Daryl Johns by Daryl Johns. This is an album I didn't know about last year. I only found out about this like late 2025. This album's cool. He is somebody that I don't really think many people know about, and he deserves to have a bit more backing. A lot of this album is instrumental, and the instrumentals are such a vibe. It's a twangy vibe that sounds like kind of like TV show openings, but at the same time, they're very meaningful in the sense of like musicianship, and you can tell that a lot of the chords and the progressions that he chooses are not very standard. And it's a very fun listen once it clicks with you. I'm So Serious has got to be one of the best pop songs from 2024. I can't wait for that song to blow up. Holy crap! The first time I listened to it, I had it on repeat like for like 2 weeks straight. I listened to that song like every single time. I got in the car, I got in the shower. It is such a good song. That song needs to blow up. Vintage Violence by John Cale. This is so much fun of an album. I didn't realize that every member of Velvet Underground was this good, but man, this album has so many bangers on it for like 1960s, 70s standards. Cleo deserves to be a song that's very highly praised. I can't believe it's like not the biggest one on that album. It's a great one to put on with your parents. It's a great one to just get like a nice cleaning vibe going in the house. Great album. Songs of Leonard Cohen by Leonard Cohen. Cameron Winter really made me appreciate this album a lot more. I had listened to it at the beginning of the year. I think because of heavy metal, but then I went back and just continually listened to it throughout the year. And wow, it's so you can feel every word he's saying. His storytelling feels so sorrowful. His instrumentation is very slow burning on you. But by the time his and his slow right, it's by the time it clicks with you, wow, you can't stop listening to it. So yeah, this album was very meaningful to me. Next up, I have Resort by Sora. This is an album that a friend sent me that he saw on Instagram after I deleted it. That Porter Robinson claimed really inspired Nurture. And if you know me, Nurture is like one of my favorite albums ever. I think the brightness behind it really aids my life, and I love the meanings. Like I said earlier, I love just fun, hooky EDM music, and so to hear the influence of that album, it reminds me a lot of Velocity Design Comfort in ways that are glitchy and early IDM, I guess. And it's ironic because those albums literally came out like 2 weeks apart from each other. This album is so bright. It really looks like the color green and blue, like the album cover. I think it perfectly encapsulates it, and I think the sampling and the glitchiness of it really fun to listen to. Comedia by Hector Lavoe. This album is so much fun to listen to. If you have not listened to Salsa, listen to this album. Like, seriously, just listen to this album. It's only 7 songs long. There can be a bit on the longer side, but every song is so good. It puts you in a high energy state. The lyrics, if you look them up and translate them, are actually meaningful because they just relate to the life of like an entertainer. And so it is an album that has meaning, and Hector Lavoe in general is just a great salsa musician, and so I will be looking forward to visiting his other albums. But this album in general, wow, I have so many memories from it this year, and it's so many those. So I got a couple more. By a couple, I mean 4, so I don't mean a couple. Arepa 3000 by Los Amigos Invisibles. This album is one that is like a future dance house Latin album. This is one of those that you can, if you're ever in a good time of your life, do yourself a favor and put this album on, because it only aids those times. So many of the songs on this, they are a bit freaky. I'll say that. They're so groovy. They're so high energy. There's so many backing vocals, and the instrumentals are very synthesizey, and it all just combines in this fun experience that you should really give a try. Going next, I did listen to a lot more Swans albums this year for the first time, but surprisingly, before this year, I had not listened to The Glowing Man, and man, that album deserves all the praise it gets. So ethereal, so incredibly powerful at moments. It's a part of the trilogy in their catalog, and when it shines, it shines. The title track song, that's my favorite Swan song. I literally don't get sick of it. The intro, I could go on about this song. Actually, I'm going to go through every part of this song just because of how amazing it is. The intro to the song, the guitar is so incredibly guitar-y. It sounds like an epic intro, and it is an epic intro. Then you get into like the bridge between da 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 to ba-dum ba-dum, what they do best of just repeating powerful chords over and over and over again, and you think you might get sick of them, but then you forget it's playing, but then you remember it's playing, and then you get stuck in this one loop of sound over and over again, and then it ends, and then it comes back and it's real big, and then it goes away, and then it comes back and it's real big. And then the part starts where it's the grooviest that Swans has ever been. And it goes on for like 14 minutes, and then it explodes out, and then it's ethereal. But not only that, it tells this story of Michael Gira, of him explaining this character in his life that has always been there, that's been forcing him to make this music. And not say forcing, but like aside him in his music. And this Joseph character is standing behind his back, and he's grabbing his throat, and what does it mean? And it's man, what a freaking cool song, man. Like actually that has got to be one of the best songs that's come out like this entire century. And if you haven't listened to Swans before, maybe go listen to other songs, but at least listen to this one at some point. Moving on to next album, Nowhere. No, listen to Nowhere. Nowhere is a duet between Louis Cole and Genevieve Artadi, who have been making music since like 2010 or 12 or something like that. They're like a jazzy duo that she sings, he drums, she also plays instruments, he also plays instruments, and they just make all these weird poppy, jazzy, funky songs. And that's their early stuff. And then you get to their later stuff, and yes, it's that, but it's refined, and it's every song is her voice is so unique and on top of the ball, with all of their music, and I'm talking about Nowhere Forever. And then you have Louis Cole's insane drumming, and then you get to the parts of the songs where they're both just soloing, but they're not soloing because they're duetting, I guess, and they're soloing on top of one another. And man, it's so fun to listen to. It's beautiful when they want to be beautiful. It's hard when it wants to be hard. It's funky when it wants to be funky. You can't say enough good things about them. People need to go listen to Nowhere. They've been putting in the work for literally over a decade. They deserve to be recognized. I hope they explode into fame at least some point in the near future, because damn, they deserve it. And then my last album. This is one that I need to go on about. This video has been very long, but Diamond Jubilee by Cindy Lee. I listened to it for the first time last year, and what I heard of this album when I first listened to it was, when I first listened to 20 minutes of it, right, was this sounds like an album that would just be playing on a Fallout radio, like the series Fallout. So I'm going into going, okay, I guess it's just like an ambient pop album that you just kind of put on in the background. So I kind of go into it that I'm like, okay, I guess. Kind of turned off by it because it's only on YouTube and Bandcamp, and like you can buy it. It's not on Spotify, i.e., or Apple Music, right? So I kind of turned away from it for a long time. And then this year, I played this game called White Knuckle. That is such a fun game. You should check it out. It's a game about climbing. Climb as much as you can, then you die, and then you start at the bottom and climb back up. And for some reason, I put this album on. And I'm listening to it a little bit more intently this time, because I work better by having something else on and doing something else. And I'm listening to it while I'm going, and I'm like, this is kind of good. This is kind of good. And then it got to All I Want Is You. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. And then I kept listening to it. And then I listened to the whole album, and I'm like, wow. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Like the whole time I was listening to it, I was like, wow. Every song it was really good. You know, even if I got a little bit lost doing something else, I was like, wow, I really enjoyed every second of it. And then I kept listening to it, and I was like, wow. Okay, this first disc is really good. And then the later half of this year, I was like, okay, I love the hell out of the first disc. I really need to start listening to the second disc more. And then I started listening to the second disc. And while the second disc is really good too, this whole album, front to back, like every single song is just so incredibly amazing. Like, I actually can't say good enough things about it. Like, I'm so blown away by just how good every single song is. It's like, you think you found your favorite song, and then you listen to the next song, and it's like, wow. This one's amazing too, right? And so you go through that process, then you think about it. Well, okay, who is Cindy Lee? Cindy Lee is this musician that is not even Cindy Lee. It's Patrick Flegel. And Patrick Flegel's character, Cindy Lee, and who he feels as Cindy Lee, and who she is is such a culmination. It's so many things that I love. The performance, the the outfit, the aesthetic, the music videos that pair with it by Phil Osborne. It's all of this. I feel like David Bowie would adore Cindy Lee, if that makes sense. I seriously don't know what to say about this album. It's just so mind blowing to me. Like I want to talk so much about it, but I don't know how to. Um, the vibe that this album goes for, it's hypnagogic. That's the term for it. And this hypnagogic feeling is you feel like you're in a trance. This was the best album from the 60s that came out in the year 2024. And it is just so amazing that I get to live in a time where something like this isn't even a nostalgia bait. It's just what it is, and it is so amazing at it. This album deserves like everything. And genuinely, this was my favorite album from last year, like for sure, and definitely my favorite one that I've listened to this year. Yeah, that's it. This is a long video. I probably won't super cut it. I kind of want to keep all my thoughts in it, so bear with me. Just put it on in the background. But I appreciate anybody who watched this. I have a lot of thoughts. I'm really proud of how much music I listen to because this isn't a normal thing for me. I really pushed myself out of my comfort zone this year, and especially when I didn't feel like maybe listening to something new. I'm really glad that I did it. It paid off. I'm young, so I'm hoping this is a habit that can stick with me. I think art as a whole is something that, as long as you keep exploring new things, good things will find you. You'll find new things, and art is something that keeps you young. So this is really a habit that I want to keep later in my life. It'll be interesting to watch this, especially how I formatted it later down the line. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and shout out to my roommate and best friend Court for inspiring me to make one of these. He's been doing these for a while, so if you don't know him or you want to watch his video, go check it out. And yeah,